part 2. So how did I get into this work? When I was a kid, I knew I was different and was sensitive to just about everything. I remember my mother always calling me a hypochondriac, and there'd never be anything wrong. Well, it wasn't until later in life that I realized that the energy in our household, or the energy in the people around me, would make me feel uneasy. In the first place it would hit would be my gut. So it was like aches and pains everywhere, anywhere. And as a child, you don't know that you're an empath. You don't know that you're picking up the energies of everything around you. Well, it wasn't until my late teens, early 20s, when I went to Florida and met a woman. I was starting a business down there, and I was really stressed out. So I went to see this woman who could teach me meditation. And while there, she had determined that I had some extraordinary sensory skills, and she asked if she could test me. And of course, I didn't know what that meant. I just said, go ahead. And she handed me an envelope, which she proceeded to say, I need you to tell me what's in this envelope. And of course, in my humanness, I go to open the envelope, and she said, no, do not open the envelope. And I said, well, you're crazy. How am I going to tell you what's in it? She said, put it between your hands and close your eyes and just let the information, it's like letting the information come up through your arms and form a picture in your mind on this like imaginary TV screen in your brain. And I said, you're crazy. I can't do this. And she said, yes, you can. Trust me. Let me teach you. So I put it between my hands, and this picture formed in my mind's eye of this little boy with dark hair and dark skin and blue eyes. And he looked to be about 2-3 years old. And so I shared with her what I was seeing, and she said, okay, now open the envelope. And that's exactly what was there, was this picture of this little boy. And she said, okay, now tell me where this little boy is. And I like pushed the envelope back at her, and I said, I can't do that. Are you kidding? You're crazy. Like, there's no way. And I got up to get toward the door, and she grabbed a hold of my ear and shoved me in a seat. And she, I tell you, if you remember the movie Poltergeist, the little psychic woman, short, little, stocky, tough as nails. And she grabbed a hold of my ear and shoved me in the seat, and she said, let me guide you. You can do this, trust me. You have an incredible ability, and you're here to use it in this lifetime. You're meant to help people. You can use it in the wrong way and hurt yourself and hurt others, or you can use it in the right way and be able to help everybody. So she walked me through it, and within 15-20 minutes, I started to see things about this child and this child's life. And I knew the child was deceased, which really hurt me as an empath, and feeling the death of someone. And I jumped up and I headed for the door, and she said, where are you going? And I said, I'll see you in a little while. And I went to the library. I drove to the library, and I thought, I need to look up these things that I'm seeing. I need to know whether this place exists, if these roads exist. I didn't know where to look. And by the time I was done, I spent hours. I went through books, I copied pages of books, and then went home, and in like the last page of all these things that I had photocopied was a phone number for Mineral Resources in Virginia. And I called the number, and a guy answered the phone, and I said, I need to share something with you. This is going to be a very odd phone call. If you stick with me, we'll know whether you can help me or not. I'm looking for a missing child, and I need to know whether what I see in my mind's eye exists. And he was incredible. So that particular story is going to be in my upcoming book, and I'll be sharing that also on a learning platform. But my intuitive abilities went from working for the police, finding missing children and families, and also looking for criminals or assessing the criminal mind. That stuff ate up my life. It was just torture. So I had to find a different way to use my abilities, and my skills and abilities advanced the more I practiced. So remote viewing skills, what's really cool about them is it's not necessarily an intuitive practice as much as it is a catch and release. If you follow the protocols that are set up in advance, you can extract information through all of your using your senses, but you're not trying to get to an end result. You're either stepping into it unbiasedly, not knowing what your target is, or you do what I did with the 3 to 5 minute question, which is somebody asks a question, you go into it front loaded knowing what their question is, perhaps knowing who the person is and what's going on in their life, but that you're still using remote viewing skills to get to the meat, the core, the pieces of the information to let it form an end result or a final conclusion. So the reason for doing or choosing to share this is all the stuff that we've been through COVID, 2020. I go back to, let's say, to 1985, when the Hopi Indians predicted that all of these earth changes and all of this stuff was going to take place around us, and that we would not be void of resources, but that they would be seemingly scarce. So throughout my life, like everything I've studied, everything I've done has led up to this point where it's time to empower humanity. Intuitive practices should not be ignored. They should be enhanced. They should be worked with and developed. Children are extremely intuitive, extrasensory. Their brains are malleable. They would grasp and do. The kids that I teach can grasp these techniques easily, effortlessly, and non-judgmentally. That's the best part about kids. And what I'll do is go into the next video telling you a little bit more. We'll sift through a little bit of information, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to interact with me. If you want to subscribe to NicoleMHenderson.com so that you can be updated on the platform being ready, as well as when the book is available to purchase, and if you are in need of a personal private coach, that's fine. The whole idea behind the platform and doing these videos is to empower you so that you don't need me. You have your own gifts and abilities. You're incredible. You can do this. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.